Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called The Growth Journey. This is the place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I'm your host, Sheryl. So, as our year end of 2019 is approaching, and I'm sure you are very busy right now getting ready for holidays and Christmas, and for planning with the big event coming up. Either you are hosting perhaps Christmas at your place, or if you are traveling to see your family, any preparation that you must do to do does takes time, right? It takes up your time, and sometimes you just know when to breathe. And sometimes you probably take some time or put aside some time for you to just take a break and just relax and breathe, right? Because of all this going on in a family, events coming up, it's just a lot of things going on in our lives. So I hope you are just taking a break right now and listening to me today with this podcast and special episode that we have for today. So before you go on holiday breaks, there are many things that you must do, especially at work or in your business. If you are a business owner or entrepreneur that are just starting out, you have to finish 2019 strong, financially strong, and to make sure that you meet your goals and objective for the year. So if you didn't meet for some reason, you didn't meet your target, or perhaps you forgot that you have a target. I know it's a lot of things going on for the whole year, and you probably missed a few things, and one of those that you forgot that you have a target that you need to meet this year. So it's quite funny if that's gonna be turned out. You still have time, perhaps to get it, and to you have a few weeks to reach your goal and to reflect on it. And perhaps it's a good to reflect on those, what you must do to meet those goals and target that you set yourself up for this year or next year. So in the future, which is your future, is coming up in 2020, a new decade, a new year. Your future will be different and will be better than this year. Good. So today our topic is in this episode is about our year-end reflection. So to those of you who knows me well, I always, vocalize that December is one of my favorite months of the year. I like every month, every day, every week. To those of us who, there's no particulars, right? For those of you who doesn't have any particular months or days or weeks in the year, but for me, this month is probably the most special one, and let me tell you why it is. So there's two things. One, December is the month for holidays. So lots of activities going on. Everybody is planning something, right? Parties, woohoo! I love parties. As long as I'm not hosting them, I like to attend. I like to show up to the party. So to those of you who are inviting me for parties, thank you. I'll be there. I'll show up. I'll bring my party hat on, and events, right? Attending those events, and also foods everywhere. Oh my God, those cookies, right? My coworker, she loves to bake cookies, and every year she always give us a can of cookies that she bake, and there are a variety of it. Oh, they were so good. So foods everywhere, drinks everywhere, and also giving gifts. Even little tiny ones, cute cards or anything. It's good to appreciate someone by giving gifts, right? Meeting new people, I like that. December is one of those too. You'll be surprised, all these parties and events, you will meet new people that you haven't met before. It's one of those things that is really good to have and to connect with. And not to mention the decorations everywhere. So just look around you right now. If you are outside or whatever you are, just look around you. Look at the stores, your favorite stores. You probably see a Christmas decorations in there, in a street. For example, in Chicago, to those of you who are familiar or have been in Chicago, especially in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile, what we call is Magnificent Mile in Michigan Avenue. Man, it's lovely there. Walking in the street, even though it's too cold, it's a great place to stop and take a break, and seeing all these wonderful decorations all around. You feel that spirit of Christmas when you are out there. And also good place, a great place to shop too. So, if you haven't been in Chicago or, in downtown especially, check out the Magnificent Mile in Michigan Avenue. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, a lot of events in there as well. So how about your home, or your families or your friends' home? It's everywhere. They are probably great on decorations, and put up the Christmas tree and everything. So you have those a lot. So that's why December is my favorite month because of it. The holidays is just so, it's different, than anything else. The second part that I like about December is, which is the most important one, which is I'll take you where we are today, is, I like this month because I'm pretty much off work for about 3 weeks, and it's so nice to just to be with your friends and family. And when you say goodbye to your coworkers or your friends at work, and you say, hey, I'm off right now, I'll see you next year, right? And then everybody like, what? Still here? Oh yeah, that's right. January is just around the corner, so that's next year. So yeah, so it was nice to say that in a way that, hey, I'll see you next year. It's like I'll be gone for the whole year, but it's not, right? One of those things that I like the most. So with that, what do I do when I'm off? Well, this is a time for me to reflect what I have done and what I have accomplished so far this year, and start planning on what will be my next step for my next year, right? So my mentor John Maxwell have said, what I value is what I find time for. Let me repeat that again. What I value is what I find time for. Maybe this is the first time you are hearing about reflections or reflecting and why it is important. You might not find the value of reflecting just yet, and you will not find the time for it because you haven't found the value for it, right? Which is so true that what we value is what we find time for. So for example, for anything we do, if we value our family or friends, we spend time with them. Right? We find some time with them. If we value our hobbies, we find time to make sure that we do those in certain days or perhaps in weeks. If we like sports, we spend our time to make sure that we played one of it, right? So anything we value and what we do, we spend our time for, and we put some time and effort to it. So reflecting is no different with that. So I value my time. I value what I've learned. I value the experience. So I value reflections. So you're probably asking, why is it so important to reflect, especially towards the end of the year? So you have probably noticed your company that you work for or with, or perhaps you have a business that you run. You see or hear about your company's year-end updates, right? You hear this all the time, and what your organization have done so far throughout the year, or your business. Did your company grow this year, and how are they planning to outperform your result from this year to the next? However, those are for your company. It's not for you. So here we are talking about you. So I remember reading many years ago that says the Y.O.U Inc, which means operate or run your lives as your own company. So start taking inventory about yourself and your Y.O.U Inc, Y.O.U Inc, such as what have done this year. What are the learning experiences that you have done this year? Did you learn something from it? Did you take any classes to improve your personal or perhaps professional growth or development? Did you earn more money, right? Did you earn more money this year than the last year? Did you get the promotion, right? Or anything like that. So reflect on those and write it down. So let's expand this a bit more, and I will provide you some steps, 5 steps for you to apply so you can plan out a great successful year, and we will go through this in great details, okay? So right now I will provide you the 5 steps to successfully year for you. So number 1 is create time, right? Create time to reflect. Again, what we value is what we find time for. Number 2 is put in writing. Number 3, identify your priorities. Number 4, reflect on findings and discoveries. And number 5, plan and schedules. So I will discuss each one of this in great detail. So, number 1, the 5 steps to successful years. Number 1, create time to reflect. So you truly need to find time to reflect, no doubt. Even if it's just for 5 minutes in a day, again, what I value is what I find time for. You can also create a place where you can think and reflect, such as, majority of us who commute or, go from every morning we go somewhere, right? In a car, you never know. If you think about it, when you're driving right now, you're probably thinking about something. Oh, I meet someone and we have this great discussion about things, about topic, or you think about something and, in a car because you're alone and you're listening to music or to the radio, to the station, or even a podcast like this, or to me, you think about something about that. It's a good reflection on that too. So in the car, it's a good place to think because that's what a lot of people spend most of the time in a car. In a plane, so if you travel quite often like myself, you have a lot of time going in the airport and then waiting for your gate to board, and then when you're bored you are inside the plane. What else you gonna do, right? People read, people watch movie, a lot of people just playing games or whatnot. So the plane in a plane is a good place to think, to write things down, to reflect on some things. And at home, and some, you can find a quiet time, a quiet time or me time for you at home, especially before going to bed. When everything, after dinner, everything is cleaned up and time for you to bed, and then just spend about 5-10 minutes to think about what you have done that day. And you can probably think about other places too. So these are just an example in a car, in a plane, at your home, especially before bedtime, to reflect on these things. You can probably think about other places too, and you can add where is a place for you to reflect and think. Okay. So now the second one is put it in writing. So to some, we still use journal, right? A notebook or legal pad to write our thoughts, or maybe index card. I know some of my friends have told me they write things out in the index card. But today you can write this down in your phone via notes app. There's probably other apps that you can use, to write things down, your thoughts that you can use to write things down. And you can also write, in your calendar, perhaps, either in your weekly planner or in your smartphones. Whatever you are comfortable with or what is easy for you to do, feel free to write it down. And when you do not write things down, so here's the thing, when you do not write things down, you forgot. You forget about the things that you've done, what it is that, it's difficult to think about it and reflect on those. Sometimes you have to think about it right on the spot, because if you wait a week, you probably, remember a few things of those, like let's say for example it's this Friday, right? And then you think about, oh, what did I did on Monday? So you have to look at your calendar, what did I did on Monday? So it's hard to reflect on those in a moment, especially going back in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, God knows, and in a month, you can probably forget what you have done for the whole month, let alone the whole year, right? So this is why it's good to to make it a habit to reflect at least once a day, 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your time. Okay, so that's that. So put it in writing. The third one is identify your priorities. So identify your top 3 or 4 priorities and write it down. So reflect on those top 3 or 4 priorities that you have this year. And remember, we are reflecting on what we have done or accomplished this year. Okay, we're still talking about this year. You can also check your calendar if you want to go back from the beginning of January, especially to those this is the first time that hearing about reflections or reflect something to reflect on or reflecting. You can go back to January and you probably have some things in there in your calendar to that you set up yourself to, or set a task task to what you have done since January, February, March, and so on. Okay, so you can go back and then check out your calendar. Okay, and the fourth one is reflect on your findings and discoveries. So let's talk about findings. Okay, so ask this question when you are in this reflecting on what you find. So number one is, what should I do less? So when you find something, do you want to do more of that or less of that? Okay, of course, the second one is, what should I do more? Right? If it's helping you out, if it's something that you really wanted to do you want to do it more? So let's say if you want to be an expert on something, a new skill set that you have learned, do you want to do more of that? You know, you enjoy doing it, so therefore you want to do more of that. Now, if you are not liking what you do you want to do less of it, right? And also the other one, the third one is, who should I share this with? You know, we as a coach, we have this accountability partner that we call. So you can point out who will be your accountability partner, either your spouse, your partner, your husband or wife, or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or whoever. Your grandma or your mom or dad, whoever close to you that you can trust. Share it with them, what you discover or what you're finding right now, and share it to them and give them and give them some feedback on what their thoughts of it. Okay, so that's important, that you can share it to someone that you can trust. What can I do to improve? So that's number 4. What can I do to improve? So you do it less. What should I do less? What should I do it more? Who should I share it with? And what can I do to improve? Okay. And the fifth one, of course, the discovery. So I'm jumping here. The finding, that's the finding, and then the discovery, right? So what did you discover on those findings that you found? So you will be surprised on what you will be discover. So you will find that all these experiences that you have had this year, you can turn those experiences, and when you reflect on it, it becomes your insight. So as you do more of these reflections, you will be surprised in many years here on out how much more you have learned. And when you are learning something, you can then pass this on to others and share it to the people who you would like to add value to. Okay, so think that main point for a moment. Okay, for reflecting, I think these are the two main point of reflection or reflecting, is the findings and discovers, because this is something that you want to get deep down with, because especially an experience and the insights. So it's what you find along the way, what you discover that you will learn, and what insight you will gain, and that's become your wisdom. Okay, so make a note of that: the discover that you will learn, what insight you will gain, and that's becoming your wisdom. So listen to this. Okay, no one can take your wisdom. No one can take your wisdom. It is yours. Okay? So because of your experience, no one can take away your experience and the insight behind it. And that's how you gain your wisdom. And no one can take it from you. Okay? Good? So the fifth one is plan and schedule. So number 5 is your plan for action for the new year of 2020 and beyond. So plan and schedule things in this new year. So now we're talking about this coming up new year. So how you gonna plan? How you gonna schedule these things, right? So letter A, let's focus on the plan, such as number 1, what must be changed. So what are your findings, what did you discover, what you want to do less, what you're gonna do more, what you're gonna improve. Now in your plan, what must be changed? Okay. Number 2, what do you need to improve on? Right? Again, there's another one, improve on again. Number 3 is, what do I get help? Who do I get help? And who can help me doing this, or to change, to help me improve, or to help me to change? So, this is a question in terms of, do I need a mentor? Do I need a coach to help me to get to where I wanted to be? Because it is so important to know this, and especially in planning, to know that what you want. That's the most important thing. What do you really want? to accomplish next year. So you'll be different from where you are today, this year, and you become a different person by next year, or that more improvement in your life next year. So this is critical questions, because sometimes, especially on mentoring and coaching, it's so important to have mentors and coach with you, because you cannot learn this by yourself. Sometimes, we thought we can. I thought I can, until I found my own mentors and coaches who can help me out to improve me and help me out to grow. So for you, think about, finding a mentor and finding a coach who can help you out to improve, what you need to improve, or what you want to accomplish next year. Okay, it's hard to do it alone. I know that. I've been doing it all by myself, and I'm not going anywhere. But as soon as I found a mentor and a coach who can help me out go through this, it was much easier. It was much more fun, because I have direction. I have a path. Someone who's gonna be holding my hand and holding me accountable to do the things that I wanted to do. Okay, so I hope you find your mentor and coach, and look for it. It's everywhere. You can find them. If not, in the meantime, just listen to this podcast, and I'll be your coach and mentor. That's my purpose of it too, in our growth journey, and I work with you on this. Okay, so the other one is, so now we talk about the planning. Now we talk about the schedule, which is also the execution of it, right? It's hard to plan something and then you're not executing something, so you gotta take action of it, what you're planning. So the first is schedule your priorities of what you need to change. The second one is put a timeline. So if you do not put a timeline or date, it won't happen. Or guess what? Procrastination. This is gonna be, you will procrastinate if you don't put a date on it or a timeline when you want to do it. You will procrastinate, okay, and you will push it back. I'm gonna do it next month, or next season, or in the next few weeks, but if you put a timeline or a date on it, when you want to improve, when you want to make a change, what you wanted to do or take actions, you gotta put that in your calendar, in your date. Okay, the second one is that's the second one. And then also in today time, also to start planning things. Okay, so speaking of time, January is just a few weeks, it's just a few weeks, and there's not much enough time for us to plan things out. So this is why we have this season of reflections, to have more time to plan and to schedule it. It is also here to to have a new calendar for you. So pick up a calendar for you and schedule a time in a day and start planning things out. Okay, so I forgot that to mention in the beginning, that gotta get a new calendar, 2020 calendar, and put that in your planning. Okay, so, and write it down. Write it down, something that you wanted to improve. What would you like to, let's say you want to take classes on, you want to learn new skills, you want to take photography, you want to learn to better cook, baker, take more classes about entrepreneur, how to open up my business, or, write self-publishment book or whatnot. Take those classes, write it down when you wanted to accomplish that, and that's going to be your goal, right? So that's a goal setting there. So I know you're probably already planning, when you are going, for your next vacation or summer vacation, right? Whether in a cruise, in a beach, in an all-inclusive and all that. So while you are thinking about your summer vacation right now, I'm sure there's a pretty good deal out there that you can search on. Make sure you include that, your personal growth plan as well when you are planning something, okay? So, how is this part of the lessons of it in our year-end reflection. So it is something that we need to plan, we need to schedule, and something that we value, right? And if we value something, we find time for as what we said in the beginning. So hopefully these lessons have serve you well as far as reflections. And if this is the only first time that you heard about reflections, I hope you find value of it as well. So So now you think about it is daunting, right? Daunting to just think about it, especially if you have never done this before. But guess what? It is. It has to be done. And the truth is really improving yourself. Improving yourself is one of the toughest and the hardest job that you can do. This is why no one wants to do it. A lot of people hoping and wishing and thinking about how they can improve, but they never took action because it's hard. It's really tough, no doubt. And they never really take the time to evaluate themselves to see where they are today and where they wanted to be. And reflection will help you to get there. Again, it is your You Inc. Y.O.U Inc. Where would you like to see you in the next year to come? Only you can decide that. So hopefully this serve you well. I hope this episode you learned something on this today topic in our episode, and I hope these lessons have add value to you. So with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Take care and be well.